Democrats are apparently trying to reinvent themselves after their brutal election losses. As the big weekend show first reported last Saturday, Massachusetts Congressman Seth Moulton continues to send shockwaves through the left. He's taken an even harder stance when it comes to protecting women's sports and has a new warning for his party.
We've got to accept a range of views. And most importantly, we've got to be willing to have a debate about these views and about contentious issues. There shouldn't be anything wrong with that. We're not going to be able to win elections if we don't at least entertain and debate a variety of views on important issues.
And check this out. Even AOC, one of the most woke members of Congress, erased pronouns from her social media profile. This about-face comes as Democratic Senate candidates reportedly complained to Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer that they were caught flat-footed from Republican ads exposing their woke policies.
Brown backed Biden, voting to let transgender biological men participate in women's sports,
pushing high schools to allow boys to compete in girls' sports. Senator Baldwin fights for this madness.
Kamala even supports letting biological men compete against our girls in their sports. Kamala is for they, them.
All right, so Democrats had a little lesson here. Going woke, it means going broke, the cliche that's been repeated many times. But, Tom, let me ask you, Seth Moulton, can he right this ship? I mean, why is he the only really voice out there saying, hey, we forgot the important things that Americans care about. We forgot to read the room. We weren't reading the room correctly.
Yeah, it all seemed very inorganic to me. And I said to myself, I wonder if Democrats are going to put their most secure candidates out there, people who won by large margins, to go out there and take all the cannon fodder, to take all the hits from the woke mob. And he was out there, and he was very articulate. And I was thinking, why is Seth Moulton being the one to send out there in front? And then I looked, and I noticed he just won his seat by 96% of the vote. He was almost uncontested. He's in one of the safest seats around. So they're going to send these people out here, certain strategic people.
There it is. Look at that.
I mean, look at that. Not bad. 96. I think he got a bigger percentage than Putin did in his last election. So they are going to do this. Now, that does not mean that everyone in a safe seat is going to say goodbye to the woke mob. They have to massage this because the woke mob is really the base of the Democratic Party. So they need to stay on their good side. But people who are expecting to win national seats or in swing states are going to have to jettison this whole woke thing because, yes, it does not work. And, you know, Kamala was out there. The gift was that she was on videotape saying we're going to give, we're going to have surgeries paid for prisoners in our prisons. So, you know, she didn't handle it well at all. So you're going to watch them try to massage this game. But they are not going to give up on the woke people. The judges that Democrats appoint are still going to side on the side of the woke mob.
The gender identity stuff, the biological men and women's sports really, Lisa, hurt people like John Tester in Montana, Sherrod Brown in Ohio. They were the last two Democrat senators in essentially red states. Now there are no Democrats in red states because of that. And I think when Trump had this one ad, it ended with Harris is for they, them. Donald Trump is for you. It really encapsulated the problem of what Democrats largely are missing.
Well, and that's the ad, I think, that helped win him the election. As you pointed out, it had Kamala Harris, in her own words, talking about her support of taxpayer-funded transgender surgery for prison inmates. And it was seen it aired 15,000 times during NFL games in swing states. It also went viral as well. And you had mentioned about Democrats not being able to read the room. The reason they couldn't read the room was because it was their own curated room. And I used to think because Democrats controlled so much power, they control so much of what we read, see, and hear by controlling the media, Hollywood, big tech, big corporations, that would mean that we would lose, because we didn't have the power. But I actually think that's the reason why they lost, because they created their own echo chamber and bubble and thought that this is what Americans want. They convinced themselves of it, and it is not as well. So, I think moving forward that they're going to try to memory hole this whole chapter of, transgender nonsense and pronouns with AOC removing the pronouns from her bio. But I think that this election was a referendum for common sense, and Americans no longer wanted to live in this clown world that the left and the media have created.
Alicia, they've got a lot of work to do to right what they did wrong. Where do you see it going? I mean, you're in Colorado, which is a bit of a mix of red and blue.
It is. I mean, it's definitely more blue than it is red, but I think when it comes right down to it, politicians are survivors, and what you're seeing right now is a calibration with Democrats who realize, like, oh, they voted for Trump, but they also voted for me, like AOC, and she went back and she talked to her constituents, and she heard some things that she probably hasn't completely released, and has realized that if she's going to survive, which I would argue she's a survivor, she's going to change her message, and it's up to Americans if they're going to decide if they believe it or not.
Now, Democrats in Congress weren't the only losers in this. Now to this, Trump's win last week came as a huge loss for the far left media as well. Remember what they were saying the day before?
Harris is going to blow the doors off, and it's going to be because of women and the Grand Gap.
I was at the airport in Atlanta, and I started randomly interrogating black men. Every single one told me they were voting for Kamala Harris.
I think that they are going to be very surprised. I'm talking about the Trump people and the MAGA nation by what's going to happen on Tuesday. Trump is toast.
Well, they got that wrong, and now they're facing the consequences. CNN and MSNBC ratings tanked after the election, and CNN is reportedly firing hundreds of staff members. Other outlets taking this as a wake-up call. Take the LA Times. They're now scrambling to add conservative voices, you heard that right, to their liberal editorial board. Here's what its owner told Fox.
Right now, we don't have an editorial board if we were truly about ourselves that are balanced, where we need to have all voices, the right, the left, and the moderate. Because if we just have the one side, it becomes nothing else but an echo chamber.
And ABC is reportedly doing the same. An unnamed source told the New York Post, quote, ABC bosses don't want to alienate the pro-Trump demographic. Viewers can expect some major changes, including bringing in new panelists that can bring in a pro-Trump perspective. So, Alicia, let me start with you. You know, when we started at this company, we had a leader and a founder that said, you know what, just tell both sides, fair and balanced. Are we finally going to see other outlets follow Fox's playbook and try and give an equal voice to everybody?
Well, I mean, they would never admit it, for sure. But also, why is this an epiphany? Like, I'm listening to that soundbite going, like, why is it like something that just dawned on them? Like, let's listen to all voices. Let's give everyone else a shot and not treat them like they're stupid and not treat them like they don't know any better, or they're uneducated, so they just don't know what they really should know. That kind of blows my mind. Like, congratulations for finally getting here, but it's just kind of like a head scratcher to me.
I was watching you watch that. I was thinking of the emoji with the exploding, you know, like.
It'll be interesting to see whether it's a New Year's Eve resolution or they're actually going to do it. Lisa, some in the media aren't even accepting that they got it wrong. The former White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki is blaming misinformation, social media. Take a look.
One of the things that's changed even since I got involved in politics is just the rise of the percentage of people who get their information off of platforms that have no fact-checking mechanism and no accountability for having disinformation spread. That is crazy. And so it is, how does it change? How are people held to account? Laws have to change.
Censorship, Lisa?
Yeah, I know. I'm like interpreting that. And basically she's saying, I'm angry. I can no longer control the American people because they have other sources of information. And I think people are hungry for the truth. They're tired of being lied to like they were during COVID. And also so many in the media went along with the pronoun nonsense, telling us that Rachel Levine is a woman when in fact he is a man. And I think people are just tired of being lied to and the nonsense. And if the people don't start telling the truth, they go to podcasts, they go online. There are a billion other sources of information. So tell the truth.
Tom, I'll give you the last word.
I can't wait to see them try this, but it is going to fail. The idea that ABC News is going to bring on right-thinking people. Oh, now we're going to have more arguments. It's not the arguments around the tables that's the problem. Their news coverage, it's rotten to the core. And they have to start really thinking about being objective journalists again when they're doing what they think is journalism.
We'll see what happens.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.